What's up? What's up? So, Blakely here to talk to you about, in conclusion, basically everything we've already talked about, kind of a synopsis and me getting my thoughts together on what we've talked about this week. So, first off, I want to reiterate, if that is the right word. I am not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, even a nutritionist. I am not someone that you should say, hey, I've got a friend that can cure your eating disorders. That's not me. I'm not that person. I am the person that's been through binge eating disorder and that has beat it, and can feel completely confident saying that to you. If you have a friend, that needs someone to say, hey, I've been there and this is how I fixed it, or even a friend that you need me to say, hey, you need to go find professional help. In that case, if they just need a shoulder, if they need any of that, that's me. That's me. So just want to reiterate that, because a lot of times in this fitness industry and in the fitness business, you got people talking about, I can help you lose weight by eliminating all your carbs. And I think it's completely, totally the way to go to make sure you're pissing out ketones. And all you got to do is be vegan. And all you got to do is eliminate fats. And all you got to do, drink this shake and take this pill. Like, there's too much of that going on as it is. So I don't want people to take this as that, because that's not what this is. So talked about my story with binge eating disorder. We've discussed the first step, which was recognizing that you have a problem, or maybe even in my case, getting a diagnosis. Second step was to stop the restricting. I think this is the most important one. Like, if you're watching this video and you're like, she mentioned the ultimate reset, I need to do the ultimate reset right now, that's what fixed it. Nope. You need to stop the restricting first, if your situation is the same as mine. So, no, that's not the answer. Third step was almost automatic. When you stop the restricting, you stop listening to all of the nonsense that gets pumped into our heads about we should or shouldn't be eating, and you start to listen to what your body says. I don't like this. I like this. Please don't eat that ever again. That was the third step. Fourth step was eliminating alcohol and marijuana for me. A lot of other people have their own issues that they would need to eliminate in this case, but for me, it was alcohol and marijuana. Let me explain a little bit more on that, because I actually am reading another book called Daring Great. Oh no, I lost my place. Called Daring Greatly. This is by Brene Brown. And I honestly didn't think any of this stuff would tie in to this book. That's not why I got it. This book actually bought it to try to dare greatly, to get over some of my fears. But there was an interesting thing that she was just talking about with herself in relation to numbing shame. And that was eating. For her, it would be, she noticed that if she's standing in front of the refrigerator and she's stuffing her face, that was trying to numb something that she feels vulnerable about or shameful about. She also would, if she's like watching TV, it's enjoyable if she's actually just watching a show, but if she's like flip, it's mind numbing. In other words, she was self-medicating. For me, binge eating, of course, was one way I did that. And then another one was alcohol and weed. For me, I would go through these things in my head, like, it's been a rough week, I deserve one drink. Or, I've had a really rough day, I deserve to smoke a blunt. Those type of things would just catastrophically turn into binge eating. And all of it in relation to numbing something that I was going through. But at the same time, it's the habit. It's the habit of doing these things to numb, if that makes sense. So what you have to go through, and I really, really, really want to stress that this is the most important step, is learning to lean in to those uncomfortable situations. For example, I'm recording this video in March of 2017, if you're watching this down the road. Last night, I'd had a busy, not a bad day at all, not even a little bit of a bad day, just busy, just work, balls to the walls, here, there, getting stuff done, you know. And the first thing that I wanted to do was smoke. It's the habit more so. Oh, I'm so hyped up because I've been all day. This is how I can calm down for the hype up. Again, I do not necessarily think that marijuana is awful for you. But for me, it leads to binge eating. It can lead to even unconscious binge eating, literally, because I sleep eat when I smoke. So moving on to the next step. Next step was, for me, the ultimate reset. That doesn't mean it's necessarily for you, but what I do think is for everyone is eliminating sugar. Okay, so that's our recap. That's where I'm at right now. Again, this is March 2017. I have said 2 times before this that I have beat binge eating. And both times, the reasons that it reared its ugly head back into my life was because of either alcohol, marijuana, and restricting too much. In other words, trying diets instead of a way of eating that worked for me. And the reason why I know I've beat it completely and totally in this time is because I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to smoke again. I'm never going to freaking restrict again. I know that seems kind of strange and doesn't make sense to you as I'm sitting here eating a mostly plant-based lifestyle. But it's not restriction because I don't want it. I don't want sugar. I don't want meat. Fish and eggs are the only things I want out of an animal. And to be honest, I'm kind of double thinking that. So that's where I'm at right now. I really, really hope that this series has either helped you in some shape or form, or at least just given you the realization that you are not alone and that there's no need to hold on to that shame that you feel because you're hiding and eating in your car or in your bedroom or even in the kitchen peeking around hoping nobody sees you, or even at work in the break room when everybody else is working, or on the way home from work and you're stopping at multiple fast food restaurants. Let go of that shame, because that shame is what keeps the habit and the cycle and the binging going. Again, I had so much shame wrapped around this issue that I guess that should have been a step. That should have been one of the videos, and I didn't really think about making that a step. I mean, we could make this 2 weeks long if I kept on, and that's saying it out loud. Saying out loud, I have binge eating disorder. This is what it is. It's shameful for us, especially if we're bulimic, and we're vomiting and we're purging that way. That's makes you feel so awful about yourself, and it just makes you want to hide from the world, and you never tell anybody. And it makes me so sad to think of all the people, men and women, that are probably struggling with this, but that are so embarrassed because alcoholism is, an addiction. Freaking cocaine, you can be addicted to. It's almost okay to be addicted to Loratabs and freaking Adderall. Like, people take that stuff like candy. But to discuss the fact that we are vomiting after we eat a copious amount of food is not okay. Like, fuck that. It's an addiction. Just like your alcohol, just like your cocaine, and just like your Adderall and your Loratab. It's the same thing. And I think when we wrap that around it like that and we remove the shame, that is when we're able to move forward. So I urge you, this is a group in here of people. Talk about it right now. If you've been just watching these videos or reading our comments and our conversations, post below. I mean, I don't mean to sound cliche, but when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, although I've never been, so I could be wrong, but from what I know, you get up and you say, "Hi, my name is Blakely and I'm an alcoholic." And that right there is the first key, because it's where you can start moving past that shame. So again, I hope this was so very helpful for you. It is my dream to help people know that they are not alone in this struggle.